Welcome to Assetization Radio, Episode 4.
Okay, welcome. Today we're doing a deep dive into, a topic that really divides opinion: Bitcoin's future.
Yeah, definitely. We've got a whole range of sources here: articles, critiques, market data, and honestly, they often paint very different pictures, sometimes completely conflicting views on where Bitcoin is actually headed.
Right. And to really get a handle on the future, maybe it helps to look back at the start.
Good idea. So Bitcoin pops up right after the 2008 financial meltdown, created by the, still anonymous Satoshi Nakamoto.
And the timing wasn't accidental, was it? It was framed very much as a response to that crisis.
Exactly. A response to the lack of trust of the big financial institutions and, worries about governments printing money and devaluing currencies.
Yeah.
Fiat debasement.
There's that famous Satoshi quote, isn't there, about trust being the root problem with normal currency. Something like needing to trust central banks not to mess with the value, but history shows they often do.
Precisely. The whole idea was built on not needing that trust. The original white paper actually called it a purely peer-to-peer version of electronic cash.
Right, for direct online payments. No bank in the middle.
Yeah. But what's fascinating and the core issue we're looking at is how that original cash idea, it bumps right up against the main story you hear now.
Which is mostly digital gold, right? Yeah. A store of value.
Exactly. That's the dominant narrative today. Store of value, digital gold.
Okay, so that shift, that tension, that's really what we want to unpack here. The goal is to lay out the key arguments, look at what's actually happening in the market so you can get a clearer picture of Bitcoin's possible roads ahead.
Makes sense. So maybe we look at the extremes. On one side, you've got someone like Justin Bonds. He was involved early on, but now he's pretty critical.
Yeah, famously called it fool's gold.
He did. And his argument isn't just emotional, it's technical.
Yeah.
He basically says Bitcoin has, lost its way, technically speaking.
Calls it unsustainable, even one of the worst cryptocurrencies, technically. What are his main points there?
Well, he hits on a few things. One is low capacity. It can only handle, about 7 transactions per second? That's tiny.
Right. Compared to Visa or something.
Yeah. Or even other blockchains.
Yeah.
Then there's the lack of programmability. You can't easily build complex applications on it like you can with, say, Ethereum's smart contracts.
Okay.
And, maybe most critically, he raises serious questions about its long-term security model.
How so?
Well, the idea is that as the mining rewards decrease over time, which they're designed to do, the network security will have to rely more and more on transaction fees.
Okay, that makes sense.
But if the transaction volume stays low, partly because of that 7 transaction per second limit, then the fees might not be enough to properly secure the network down the road.
Ah, I see. So the technical limits could actually undermine its security as a long-term asset. That directly challenges the digital gold thing, doesn't it? Suggests the foundations might be shaky.
It does. Now, swing completely the other way. You've got Michael Saylor.
Right. MicroStrategy CEO, he's probably the biggest public proponent of the digital gold idea.
Absolutely. For him, Bitcoin is basically a superior asset for companies and individuals, too, to hold their value, primarily a hedge against inflation.
Because of the fixed supply, the 21 million coins.
Exactly. He calls it debt-free, apolitical store of value, immune to what central banks decide to do. Basically, insurance against your dollars becoming worth less.
And his company, MicroStrategy, put its money where its mouth is. They hold a huge amount of Bitcoin.
They really do. And for Saylor, things like low transaction speed, that's not a bug. It's almost irrelevant. Its main job, in his view, is just to sit there and hold value, like gold.
So a complete contrast to Bonds' technical concerns. But it's not just these two poles, is it? There are plenty of other skeptics.
Oh, definitely. You've got Nassim Nicholas Taleb, who initially liked it, but now sees it more as a speculative bubble, attracting scammers.
And economists like Paul Krugman just dismiss it. No economic purpose, I think he said.
Yeah. And figures like Christine Lagarde of the ECB have called it worthless, linked it to crime, and basically said no way should it be a national reserve currency.
So a lot of pushback from established finance and economic circles.
And yet, despite all that skepticism, you see traditional finance getting involved anyway. Think about Jamie Dimon at JP Morgan. He might call Bitcoin names
worthless.
Right. But JP Morgan still lets its clients get exposure, through those Bitcoin ETFs.
That really highlights the market reality, doesn't it? Whatever individuals think, institutional adoption is happening, slowly perhaps, but it's there.
And things like the spot Bitcoin ETFs, They've made it much easier for regular investors or traditional finance folks to get involved.
Which integrates Bitcoin more into the normal financial system, even with its price swings being, famously wild.
Totally. Okay, so let's try and summarize this for you. We've seen this really sharp split. Bonds focusing on technical flaws, questioning its very foundation, especially as cash.
And Saylor doubling down on digital gold, focusing purely on scarcity as a defense against inflation.
Then you layer on the skeptics economists, central bankers saying it's flawed or has no real use. But also you see moves towards regulation in some places and this growing institutional interest.
Yeah, the ETFs, the investment products, they're pulling Bitcoin into the mainstream financial world, kind of regardless of these big debates about its true nature or purpose. And yeah, the price is still all over the place.
So when you put all that together, the original cash dream, the current digital gold status, the technical arguments, the market actually integrating it, the regulators circling, where does Bitcoin actually settle in the long run?
Right. Will it just remain this niche, volatile digital gold? Or could it somehow, maybe through other layers or tech, circle back towards being more like cash? Or maybe it finds a completely different role we haven't even really thought of yet.
Exactly. That's really the big question, isn't it? Something for you to keep mulling over as this whole thing continues to play out.
Good morning, and in case we don't see ya, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.